Hey friends, it's me Naomi from Sleepy House Healing. Last night was actually our dark moon in Leo, and I normally, before the new or the full moon, or right on, I give a reading, a collective transmission, and last night I just found myself very activated from external circumstances that were not really in my control, and I wasn't able to tap in fully to the medicine that I needed or that y'all needed. So I'm coming to you this morning, Wednesday morning, and no longer the dark moon and no longer in Leo, but here we are. And just want to say, if you're feeling that in any way, feeling, triggered, or in a space where things are difficult for you, you're in good company. And I'm just going to pull a couple cards for us all collectively, and I'm going to pull one specifically for Leos. And, I'm just thinking about the fact that my moon sign is in Leo. So if your moon, your rising, or your sun are in Leo, here's a card for you. Ooh, two of them. Okay. And I'm not sure why this is, but I noticed for myself when the moon is in Leo or Capricorn, during my sun sign season of Capricorn, I have a harder time. I don't know why that is. Not saying that it's like a bad for me that I go through it, but I just am not as available. So anyway, the cards that came through for Leo, moon, sun, or rising, we have the Hermit and Temperance reversed. And so I think here we have two major arcana cards, and they're both reversed. So I think that there's an extended period. It's not, I think we're not being exactly blocked from our Temperance energy, but I do think that maybe we're having a harder time stepping into our Hermit energy. I almost feel like we're being invited to go through Hermit times, right? Some withdrawal from our responsibilities or our external circumstances, so that we can get to the Temperance, level of understanding and ability. So I think that in some ways maybe we are being blocked, or we're being delayed on our path to unplug in some ways, just because maybe our responsibilities are not ones that are easily shelved. We have to plan to unplug. So it's we're doing more work to find a way to do less work, so we can do our inner work and heal. When we have to do more planning in order to get there, it's just harder, right? It doesn't necessarily happen as smoothly as I'm just gonna go lay down for a couple hours. It's some of us have kids, jobs, partnerships, houses to run, all kinds of things that we can't just really sit down. But again, the medicine needed is unplug. Doesn't mean necessarily unplug from your friends, your social, things that are working for you. But if your routine is not leaving space for you to actually have anything for yourself, just something to think about. Because I think we are collectively heading more towards the Temperance energy, but as a reversal, it's not going to be a aha moment anyway. I mean, it's never usually like that in healing. I would say it's not usually I just get it now. My trauma makes sense. Maybe that happens for somebody. I haven't really witnessed that very often. So I think the invitation with unplugging, I almost think with the Hermit, what comes to mind is one of those sensory deprivation tanks where you go And like for an hour, you just like chill in this water that's like the same temperature as your body and kind of try to like turn your brain off. I mean, you don't have to try. Eventually that sort of happens. And then I know in my experience with it, I felt like I wasn't there, but that was fine, right? In some way I was even more present. So anyway, detaching in some ways, bringing you, when I stepped out anyway, it brought me into like this feeling of like, maybe death is like that. Maybe I'm okay with death. Like maybe I'm not scared if it's like that. Anyway, but Temperance is the card that comes right after death. Death kind of, you know, right, the great equalizer, like everybody goes through it. I say that like all the time, like everybody has to die, but Temperance is this reminder that we're all holy and there is something afterward. So for me, it's like, maybe my spirit lives on. I want to believe so, but even if not, we go back to the earth, and to me, and you know, feed the soil. You don't have to like believe that there's another life after death in order for Temperance to have medicine for you. So, but I do think that we're kind of stepping towards that realization collectively. More people are kind of waking up to the fact that like, in some ways, and maybe in our lifetime, a lot of us are like kind of hitting the bottom of what's acceptable, like what is happening, and you know, personally, collectively, and Temperance is just, it's there for us to, it's an energy to embody, not saying, oh, we have this angel of support for us, which, you know, I hope that you have that, you know, feeling with your guides, those connections, and, you know, your ancestors. However, I really think that this is more of an embodiment invitation. So just to let you know, Leos, Leo moons, and Leo risings in particular, this is relevant for you. Also, what a Leo kind of outfit. I think it's technically a Sagittarius related card, but this, in this particular deck, this is the card that's like on so many things. I think like it's, the whole deck is so artfully crafted. It's the B. Nettles Mountain Dream Tarot, but this particular card, it's just, it's the stunner, you know? So embody Temperance. And that's reminding me of moderation, which on the nose, I think that's what Temperance means, but I have never really read it that way. But for whatever reason, it's coming through today that maybe that is something to think about. Moderation in like work, food, anything that we enjoy that's actually good for us. We still almost want to say work-life balance, but what corporate-y kind of language is that, you know? I would like a little work on the side of my life. You know, my existence is not to make money for myself or anyone else. So, but finding balance, I would say, in our give and take, and also in how we arrange our experience. So, all right, Leos, now that I have us covered, got a tattoo the other day, so it looks scary, but it's gonna come off and be really cute, hopefully. Just realized I haven't even addressed that. Okay, so we got the sun popping out. Not really surprised. Elimination. Just also that reminder that there are some things that we all have, right? Most of us have the ability to speak and to listen. Most of us have the ability to stand in the sun and accept the warmth that is available. It can be hard to get there. It can be. I'm not saying it's easy for everyone. If you're watching this, you have access to internet, at least sometimes, you know. So I think I'm just getting that message of like, looking at what is available and what is just there for you. and having that lead you towards what's next rather than searching, if that makes sense. All right. What is the main thing that we need to know right now? The main collective message. And then we're going to pull a card for what is under the surface. What's under the surface of that? Okay. Beautiful. So, Empress and the Five of Cups. Well, this is just, I don't see the Empress as motherhood, right? But what kind of combination is more relevant for mothers, I would say, during this time? For parents, for people who really just anybody who deeply loves another person. I shouldn't even say mother, right? But I'm just looking at myself here because on the surface, and it doesn't mean it's not true just because it's on the surface, right? This is still here. It's still relevant. It doesn't mean superficial or fake. But we have this handed down wisdom that some of us are finding. We have this invitation into beauty and receiving and, getting help from other people, accepting love, and transforming our own experiences, our life with care, and other people as well, transforming things with care. And so I see these eyes with tears, right? Like they're watering the flowers, right? There's some grief in this particular depiction that I've never really noticed before, but there it is. And then here, again, we have eyes and we have cups, right? We have these blessings over here that we may not be even able to see, even if we know they're there. But we have these three cups that we're, and the Three of Cups is like community based a lot of times, but we have these three cups pouring out and we're grieving. There's a lot of emotional, I don't even want to say confusion. I think a lot of us know what it is. We know why we're here. We know why there's grief underneath this, self-care and nurturance. I don't think that it's actually hidden to us at all. Our eyes are open. We see it. What the next step is for us personally, I don't know. I don't know for myself or for you. We can investigate, but right now this is just the space that we're in. And you're not alone. I think that every person watching, for whatever reason, there is that grief that you're processing. Even if you don't know how to process it, it's available and it's teaching you something. Ugh. I hate saying that sometimes. It's like, I'm good on lessons. I would like some comfort, please. I'd like some security rather than lessons for once, but that's what's there. So, I want to just pull a card for this cycle. Whoop. Alrighty. Like, what's kind of coming, not what's kind of coming, but what's here. And, alrighty. Goodness. So, we have hope. That's good. There's hope on the other side of this moon cycle, so from now to the full moon. But getting there, we have the Ace of Wands reversed, and we have the Ten of Cups reversed. So, both of these, I would say, as reversals, again, I'm getting this message of, I've had this personally, but in general, magical drought, where it feels, maybe you either feel disconnected from your magic, maybe you feel like you've been pushing too hard, maybe asking for too much, which I don't fully know that that's possible, but, maybe you're feeling like it is time to set down your wand for a while, and that's okay. You're still a witch if you set down your wand. You're still a witch if you set down your tarot cards for a week. You are. You're still magical. You're still a multidimensional being. And you're actually still doing personal alchemy, even if you are not doing rituals. is that an invitation to just drop your practice because you feel depressed? No, because, well, one of my friends was pointing out, like, when I don't feel connected to my magic is when I need it the most. And I think that that can be true. But I will say that sometimes intuitively, when it's time for me to kind of take a break from everything, that can sometimes include spellcraft. And I feel like shame around that. I feel shame because it's like, well, who am I to sell readings, give people this, spell suggestions, and I'm not practicing daily in a way that I think they would assume or expect or think I should. At the end of the day, it's your practice. I've had actual magical droughts where I didn't practice for a year. That does not feel good, and that is in that case of just not feeling connected to my magic, and that was not great. But if you need to pause anything, creative work, writing, making art. I mean, the wands are just connected to all of these things. And instead of seeing this as I'm setting the wand down, I really am getting this image of sticking the wand into the earth and seeing if something will grow from there. That's what I'm seeing. Instead of having it up towards the sky, ready to cast, I'm seeing it stuck down into the earth, and seeing if something will grow. And maybe nothing will, but it kind of brings me back to this childhood story where this really happened, where I took these willow branches from here, I think. No, I took willow branches from my grandmother's house at 555, that's my tattoo, 555 Short School Road. We don't live there anymore, so I don't think anyone does. But anyway, I took some willow branches and I shoved them in the ground, and I did one here as well, at my current home, which we may also be moving from. So when we did that, I waited. I hoped that it would grow. And it did. And so now you might have seen, if you're someone who follows me on Instagram, around Beltane, I wrote a poem for the tree, this particular willow tree, and we called it Frankenwillow. So that tree's always just been a really good friend to me. So kind of makes me think that when I move again, which I have very mixed feelings about moving from this space, but when I move again, maybe I should bring a willow wand and try to plant it, or just keep it. We'll see. So we can have hope that our tree will grow, that our wand, that our practice, that our understanding will grow. However, if it doesn't, I think it does manifest in some other way. So setting down your tools, if you find yourself just, deeply, not stagnant, but I think sometimes I know it's time for me to take a break from research and crafting and ritual, because I'm not sure what I want anymore. That's when I'm like, oh wait, put on the brakes. What am I trying to manifest? What am I trying to get? If I don't know, and I'm doing work that's not just gratitude, that's not praying to my ancestors, which is something I do every day, no matter what, then I don't need to be spell casting because I don't know what I'm asking for. Sure, there's some things we kind of always need, but I just, that's kind of where I'm at. So we also pulled the Ten of Cups reversed, and here I think for sure there is a block. We've had a lot of reversals, so I'm just going to ask, what's on the other side of the block. Okay. Yeah. So for this cycle, if we are disconnected from our joy, the remedy, right? The remedy for reconnecting I do feel that there may be a lot of discomfort with this. But the remedy for reconnecting is going forward with your words, creating new pathways mentally, creating new patterns. I don't want to say I trick my brain into doing what I want, but I know that my brain isn't me. My brain is kind of a jerk. I think a lot of us have this. If you have anxiety, if you're neurodiverse, or even just, I think it might just be being a person. Our brain, it wants to keep us safe. It tells us all kinds of shit that's not true so that we will not make big moves, so that we will not do anything too risky where we might be unsafe in its own logic. But the way to really get there, get to your joy, get to your fulfillment, who you're really supposed to be, where you're supposed to be, especially for this time, we can't just relax and sink into it. I'm not saying don't relax, because we have this invitation, right, to lay down our tool, to, take a break in some ways from our crafts or from our, what we would normally be doing, our routines. But that doesn't mean we're just like gonna be like stationary and resting and like watching Netflix the whole time. You're not gonna get anywhere with that, as much as I do think that media can be medicinal. That's something Lindsay Mack says a lot, and I just totally agree. Like, trash TV can be great for you. I'm never gonna shame you for that, right? However, I'm just right here with the very active Knight of Swords pushing forward, saying, in order to get here, to actually climb the mountain, to grab our holy grail, whatever that is for us in our life, whether we even get all the way there or not, the way forward is finding our confidence, finding our way, and if there isn't a way, carving a path, a new path. Ugh. So uncomfortable. It's so difficult. I'm just going to tell you, it's not easy most of the time. Even those of us who feel like we really communicate well, like we've always been, I'm one of those people, it's like I've always just been able to talk, able to form my thoughts into sentences and be understood. Usually. I'm a writer. That's what I do. A lot of us don't have that gift, but even those of us who have that gift, or similar, gifts with communication, it's still hard because we're going to be communicating in a way that we never have before, and maybe with new people or people who are really expecting us to communicate in some other way that they're used to, that we're just starting a whole new chapter, and it's not going to be like that anymore. So I think getting also used to the phrase, that's not me anymore. I saw that somewhere. This is not mine. But being able to just say, that's not me anymore. This is who I am. This is what I want. Heavy. But we do have hope. We do have joy available on the other side. Am I saying that this entire moon cycle is just going to be heavy and hard and nobody's going to have any joy or fun? Absolutely not. But I think your ultimate goals, your ultimate like leveling up, it's coming, but we have like quite a bit of work to do before that, where we are retraining our brain and also retraining other people around us. So if you get nothing else from this little message, just remembering that. And again, if you're not feeling like putting down your wand and you're feeling like picking it up and like lighting it on fire and like, great. Please do that. Follow your intuition. Don't just like listen to what I'm saying. This is all information for you, right? Disagreeing with what I'm saying is just you finding your own truth. And that's great. If you disagree, that's perfect. Please follow yourself, not me, if what I'm saying isn't working for you. But the one thing I want you to remember is that if you're laying down your wand, if you feel like your fire isn't going out, that's the thing. I think in some ways you're like giving the fire more oxygen to grow. you're giving it kind of space. So especially if you've done quite a few workings here lately, which before my little break, I had done quite a few workings, and it's like, if I just keep pushing and creating enchantments, there's no space for those to really come to fruition. So, or they can, but like, how do I know what worked, right? How do I know what's what, you know? So anyway, especially if your energy and your concentration is scattered, sticking that wand in the ground, and you're still going to be doing that personal alchemy, even if you are not doing what others may consider practicing. So allow yourself that time, that space, if you can. I know that some of us really cannot just hole up and hermit up in the most literal sense. I can't. I wish I could, but I can't. I'm a parent. Trying to sell a house right now, maybe, if anyone wants to buy it. So, yeah, I'm here with you. You're in good company if this is you. And if not, great. Being able to identify that, like I said, is also very important for your own personal practice and connection. So, at the time of this recording, it is Wednesday the 19th. Tonight at 7 p.m. CST, I have a really fun, hopefully, free-form tarot circle. All patrons get it for free, and everybody else, I would love a donation, but not required. I'm not going to turn anybody away because they don't have funds. I want you to come. I will throw the link in the description, or, here on Patreon. It also went out in my recent email blast, so if you got that. If you want to sign up for my newsletter or my Patreon, my newsletter, you can find the link to sign up in the description of my Instagram. So Sleepy House Healing on Instagram. To sign up for Patreon. Actually, there's also a button in my Instagram for the Patreon, which is patreon.com/sleepyhousehealing. And yeah, I love y'all. This was not the most high energy collective reading, but I think that it's important for me to show up where I'm at. So now you know. And I love y'all. All right. Bye.